Actor, producer, and screenwriter John Cusack has been appearing in movies for, brace yourself, John, more than 3 decades.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. It's true. It says it right there. He stars in Spike Lee's new movie, Chi-Raq, about gun violence in Chicago. He plays a pastor and an activist deeply involved in the community.
First of all, when a murderer walks free, we are all in danger. But if multiple folks come forward, multiple folks who witness these murders, there is no one target. What makes someone a target is not the shooter. What makes someone a target is the community that surrenders to fear.
John Cusack, good morning to you.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
Boy, this seems timely in terms of what's been happening in Chicago, what's been happening in our larger world, and this movie really takes on this issue of gun violence and violence in communities in a pretty interesting way.
Yeah, it's a retelling of Lysistrata. Remember what we read in English class?
Yes.
Aristophanes.
Or I claimed to read, but didn't really. Yeah. So remind everybody.
Well, it was a satire, and it basically is about the culture wants to go to war and wants to keep going to war, and the women start a sex strike. And actually, it's been it happened, I think, in Liberia, and it's happened some places. So it's a satire. So it's not a comedy in a sense. It's about very, very serious things. But I think sort of like Network and some of these other satires, it's a way to put a lens on these things that are so tragic and we become so numb to.
It's an interesting rhetorical device because the women of this community band together and say, you know what? Here's how we're going to get the attention of the men that we love. We're going to withhold sex. Now, your character is a minister based on a real person, this Father Flager.
Father Michael Flager, who's been at St. Sabina Church for 40 years. And he, like a lot of other people in churches and synagogues and mosques, like do this work, this incredible work every day, day in and day out, trying to keep their neighborhood safe. And even as we speak right now, from Father Mike gave me this site called HeyJackass.com. It's a site of local, the community that keeps track of all this stuff. And there's been 198 people shot in November so far. There's been, since the video was released of the young man who got killed, there's been 45 shot and wounded, total shot 55, 12 homicides. And how many people do you think have been shot and wounded in Chicago this year to date? What would your guess be?
I don't even know if I could venture a guess.
2,762.
And this is your hometown.
And almost 500, 465 homicides. So those are the really sobering numbers, and communities are living with this every day and desperately asking for help and attention and for some sane reform.
Yeah. Well, the movie really brings to light those issues. Separately, you have another project called Love and Mercy.
Yeah.
And tell me about that. And are you playing Brian Wilson?
Yeah, I play Brian Wilson, and Paul Dano plays Brian when he was a younger man, because when he was in the Beach Boys. So it's sort of 2 portraits of Brian that we hope harmonize together.
Were you a fan, Brian Wilson?
Oh yeah, yeah. When I made a movie called High Fidelity, it was about these record store owners. The only thing that the greatest rock and roll snobs in the world could agree on was that Brian Wilson was in everyone's top 5. So Pet Sounds and Smile Sessions. So you know, he was he's a true genius and a pioneer. So it was an honor to play him. Well,
it's great to have you here. You have 2 interesting projects, and sorry if I do still want to see you in a romantic comedy one of these days.
I'd love to do one. It's just, you got to get off it. You got to get off it.
Okay, all right. Are you listening, Hollywood? John Cusack, thank you so much. Congrats on these projects. Appreciate it.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.